Hello. This is my review on the final season of Legend of Korra, Season 4. This game a place to sit. This is my review on Season 4 of Season 4, the final season of Legend of Korra. I feel like my feelings to this is kind of similar to my feeling to Season 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender, the final season of the show. It feels like it doesn't come together whole well smoothly as a final chapter for this final season. It feels like another chapter in the series for future coming seasons, more than a conclusion. It feels less like a conclusion of Korra's character growth, because I feel like when season 3 wrapped up, that should have been the end of Korra's story, and maybe put a few 2 years on hold to come out with season 4 instead of releasing season 4 the same year after wrapping up with season 3. That I think was a mistake on my part. On my opinion, I think that was a mistake on their part, in my opinion. Is what I meant to say. Because it just like seems kind of odd how season 4 came out into the same year after season 3 wrapped up and came out. And, it's just kind of strange how, one ended in 2014, the other one began in 2014. And it is kind of strange how much like season 3 of Avatar The Last Airbender, the biggest problem, it doesn't really focus on the main characters it focused on in the past seasons. It focuses more on new characters that are the villains. It focuses more on the villains of the show and the villain struggle, and less of the heroes are more one-dimensional this time around, because it doesn't focus on them as often and gives them as much depth this time around, and makes them more flat and one-dimensional. And even Korra, because she has less screen time, and even the heroes have less screen time, and the villains have more screen time this time, or the ones who are helping the villains, the heroes, like, that is working for the villains. And the villain this time around is kind of represents a female earthbender version of Hitler. How she operates and kind of dictates everything. And one of Korra's friends working with her and for her. And it's like kind of you see the imagery and you can tell that they're trying definitely take inspiration from World War II stuff with the action and how dark it goes in the season. That was one thing I think. I gotta admit, I think I do like this more than season 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender as a final season, more than of the final season of Avatar: The Last Airbender final season. Because here's the thing, I think Legend of Korra and Avatar have something in common. The last season is actually the weakest out of the bunch. It all goes downhill once it goes to the final season. For better or for worse. Once they get into that final season, it starts like have a ripple effect where some things start to not land as smoothly for story beats and character plot lines. So in season four, they have a trouble balancing developing the villains and the to the point like well they don't have they have trouble balancing developing the good guys and the villains and give them equally as much screen time and writing, but this time it's not as sharp or complex this time with the character growth with Korra or and the people she interacts with are on her side, or her friends, and they don't have a lot of stuff to do with the heroes to make them interesting and develop them on the good guy side of this time around. But the reverse is said for the villains of the story, or people who are helping the villains that are good guys. In season four of called Balance is the name of the. You know what is funny? The title of this season is called Balance, but this show final season doesn't feel a whole lot balanced for the finale of a final season. I mean, it's definitely a better final season than Avatar Last Airbender had with season 3. Because it takes more. It does it. I will say I think the reason why, because it does go more mature with the violence and its tone and the villains this time around. However, I think Aang the hero, his character arc was more how in his ending to season 3 was more thought out than Korra's ending and final scene with season 3 was her going with the girl in the spirit world for vacation to hang out. It just seemed out of nowhere. Like that final scene, it seemed out of nowhere. It didn't go anywhere. It just didn't feel like nothing felt like it mattered or resolved with that was revolved around Korra's character growth. Nothing seemed resolved or nothing. I mean, I will. It was kind of strange how in episode 1 we don't see her until the end. So I think it's going to be more interesting episode 2, but really she's just running from responsibility of being the avatar and just joining underground fights and not being the avatar for a bit. And it's not really explained why she's running from being the avatar for now. It's just, I mean, I guess she has PTSD, but or she gets quickly over it, or I'm not sure. It feels like the character Korra in her own show in season 4 feels like an afterthought to put in the season 4, and she just feels like she has no relevance to the plot at this time around. Compared to Aang in season 3, where season 3 was pretty much was just a frosting on top of the first 2 seasons, where it was just like give closure to Aang being hinting out he might be that him ending might have a future with Katara after all, and while building on Zuko's mother being alive. And I hear they were going to go for season 4 with this show, the original show, and that's why it didn't end on a forwardly giving you closure note. It wanted to leave some stuff open for season 4 to go with the direction, so I guess we won't find out what happened to Zuko's mother with season 4. And so on. And but we never got a season 4 of the original show. We got a season 4 of Legend of Korra. And Legend of Korra really didn't feel like a whole lot of fallout thought put into the show. Like it didn't feel like that. Like I feel like they didn't put a whole lot of finish developing these characters, like on the heroes on the hero side, like Korra and her friends and the people who help her and team up with her in fights and stuff. I think this could have been better season. I will say it's more of a spectacle than season 3 of Avatar: Last Airbender. What this has got going for is a spectacle and mature violence than Avatar: Last Airbender with season 3. However, season 3 gives a more feels more like a for Avatar: Last Airbender the final season versus Legend of Korra final season does feel like it's more of a finished, thought out, written story for season 3 than Korra. You know what I'm trying to say is Korra felt like the whole scene with Korra season 4. It felt out of place compared to the first 3 seasons, even though it's a sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender. And season 4 feels like it's kind of like a whole thing, despite how creative it is and ambition it is with the action and animation. I can't help but feel like the whole storytelling comes together feels like an afterthought. Like it didn't need to be made, but it just got made just because the first 3 seasons might have gotten like some praise. So they brought it back for a 4th season, and they don't know what to do with the other characters because there's so many characters in season 4 that are reoccurring characters with the new villain that mostly gets most of the screen time. That's the main villain of the show, of season 4. I'm very conflicted about season 4. Still, I want to give it a 10 out of 10 because it did lift her impersonation, good impersonation on me. Nonetheless, I remember it, and it did left a good impersonation on me. Even though it had its problems. It was this final season of season 4 of The Legend of Korra, the sequel to Avatar: Last Airbender show. So yeah, that's my review on season 4 of Legend of Korra, known as Book 4 Balance. Titled. Is also titled that. Okay, that's my review on Legend of Korra season 4, the final season of Legend of Korra. Why I give it a 10 out of 10. Goodbye, subscribe, like this video. Hit the subscribe button. Grow my subscribers, please. Goodbye.